There is a bizarre number of people online claiming to be straight up addicted to Diet Coke. Addicted to Diet Coke.
What started as an occasional trip to the vending machine became a 4 to 5 can a day habit.
Outside of short-lived attempts to quit, I haven't gone a single day without diet soda in more than 7 years.
Diet soda seemed so innocent. I didn't do drugs or smoke, and I hardly ever drank alcohol. Soda was my one and only vice, and didn't everyone deserve to have one of those?
Pause. Go to the refrigerator and get an ice-cold Coca-Cola.
Diet soda seemed so innocent.
A couple of years ago, nothing could convince me to stop drinking Diet Coke. I had absolutely zero desire to quit, and I was borderline proud of it. And obviously, I'm not alone on this. Diet Coke has managed to acquire this cult following. Clearly, something about this drink has people hooked. But what exactly? And despite it being seemingly zero everything addictive, is it possible that Diet Coke could in fact be habit forming? Well, to try and answer these questions, I feel like the place to start is with the drink's legendary secret formula. Also, PS, if you don't make it to the Karen section of this video, you are missing out. Today's video is sponsored by me and my first ever behavior change guide. I've spent the last few years of my life studying behavior change and using what I've learned to break down all of my bad habits using the method in this guide. It's a 3-step process that uses psychology and the science of behavior change to help you get motivated, gain control, and rid yourself of even the most stubborn bad habits. I've used this method successfully to do everything from waking up earlier, ending procrastination, eating healthier, and even getting more consistent at the gym. It comes with a guide, exercises, and printable workbook that will hopefully help you discover why you do what you do and how to stop doing things that are making you unhappy. So if you have bad habits you want to break or you just want to support the channel, click the link in the description box to check out the video and get your guide. And back to the video.
The world premiere of Diet Coke. Introducing Diet Coke. Just for the taste of it. Diet Coke!
Once upon a time, the answer to the question, why is Coke so addictive, was simple. Cocaine. About 9 milligrams per glass, to be exact. And coca leaves are still a key component of the drink's secret formula, just minus the cocaine. Decocainized coca leaf extract acts as a flavoring agent in Diet Coke. Is it possible that it still contains some addictive properties? Could there still be trace amounts of cocaine in Diet Coke? Well, according to this test, no, there's no cocaine. It was looking pretty touch and go there on meth for a while. But no, raw coca leaves do contain other compounds that could potentially be addictive, one of them being nicotine. But it's impossible to know without lab testing whether or not anything like this shows up in the final product. Instead, the biggest red flag on Diet Coke's ingredient list today is a different psychoactive drug, caffeine. Diet Coke contains 46 milligrams of caffeine per can, 11 milligrams less than regular Coke, but much less than a cup of coffee. But have you ever wondered why caffeine is in soda at all? Like, what's the point? Well, Coca-Cola's official statement is that caffeine is there for flavor as well. That is just another ingredient that gives Coca-Cola its unique, great taste.
Just for the taste of it.
Caffeine being added just for the taste of it might not be true. Actually, according to the scientist, it might be a blatant lie. Food manufacturers claim that caffeine is added to improve the flavor of their products. But this seems unlikely because caffeine is very bitter, and at least in soda, cannot be detected using taste by the majority of individuals who have been tested.
Just for the taste of it.
I wonder why caffeine is in Diet Coke then. Thankfully, this scientist has an answer for us. It seems more plausible that caffeine is actually added to food products to increase their reward value, which would increase purchase and consumption of these products. Yep, this means that caffeine is most likely intentionally added to Diet Coke so that you consume as much of it as possible. Reward value is our first component of habit formation. It's really the first thing you need to make anything addictive. Anything our brain finds pleasurable or stimulating, i.e. rewarding, acts as a signal to keep us coming back for more. And Diet Coke excels in this category. As my fellow Diet Coke addicts will know, it's something of an experience. There's a satisfying pop and fizz of a freshly cracked can. The popping bubbles, rich caramel color, and burn of carbonation in your throat. And of course, that distinct spicy and sweet flavor. When you take that first sip of Diet Coke, you're not just tasting it, but engaging your eyes, ears, tongue, and even the pain receptors in your mouth. And this experience and all of these little pleasures on their own can contribute to the reward value of the product if you enjoy them. But objectively, some characteristics have been shown to be more rewarding than others, like caffeine that we just discussed, and sweet taste. In regular Coke, the next most obvious ingredient when it comes to reward value is, of course, the sugar. Our brains love sugar because it signaled important calories and energy to our hungry ancestors. Therefore, sugar is one of the most addictive food additives around, not to mention unhealthy. Which is part of why I always felt better drinking Diet Coke. After all, Diet Coke is sweetened with aspartame.
NutraSweet. Why so many things taste so good.
And it signals no calories or energy. So could it still be as addictive as sugar? Well, thankfully, for most people, the answer is no. Brain scans show that when offered sugar and alternative sweeteners, most people's brains find sugar much more rewarding. Their brains do still enjoy and react to aspartame, just to a lesser degree. This theoretically should mean that on an ingredient level, Diet Coke is less addictive than regular Coke. But it turns out there's one disturbing exception to this rule. Chronic diet soda consumers.
Diet Coke's the #1 diet soft drink in the world. For one simple reason.
The brains of individuals who consumed at least one diet soda per week found sugar and artificial sweeteners equally exciting.
But that's no surprise.
The fact that the brains of chronic diet soda consumers are changing over time to value sugar and sweetener equally is a very good clue that sweeteners like aspartame could indeed be addictive. There's also tons of online rumors and eyewitness accounts of people claiming to be suffering from aspartame withdrawal when they try to give up diet soda. People are saying they experience headaches, light sensitivity, nausea, panic attacks, behaviors consistent with a full-on physical addiction.
I did experience extreme side effects from getting off Diet Coke, and my body just got so addicted to it that it just became like natural.
But here's the weird part. You'd think with so many stories online of people reporting symptoms like this, you'd think this would have been studied. But I couldn't find a single study on whether or not aspartame was truly addictive. Which is very, very odd given the volume of people complaining of these symptoms. So make of that what you will. Now, I'm sure we can investigate the secret formula and ingredients further. I had to cut out a whole section on carbonation alone. But regardless, the reward value is really only one component of what makes something truly habit forming. It gets the ball rolling, but we need two more things. 45-year-old Stephen Morrison begins every morning with Diet Coke. And by the end of the day, he will usually have consumed up to 15 cans or 3 to 5 liters of soda. Ironically, Stephen's addiction to Diet Coke began when he was on a journey to lose weight and improve his health. No health-conscious person would consume even 5 cans of regular Coke in a day, being that it would rack up around 560 calories and 195 grams of sugar. Yet self-proclaimed health people, fitness addicts, and general overachievers think nothing of chugging Diet Coke because, well, it's 0 calories. Okay, 1 calorie. And I think it's this rationalization, this focus on the fact that it's 0 calories, that is a uniquely addictive characteristic because it unleashes the second component of habit formation, repetition. The more often we repeat a behavior, the stronger a habit becomes. In behavioral economics, 0 is a very powerful number. Free things tempt us to discard our regular decision-making process. Our perception becomes distorted. We magnify the item's benefit and downplay its downsides. We also have a stronger and more positive emotional reaction to 0 products, which could potentially explain why Karen here
Hi, my name is Karen. I am what they call a Diet Coke fanatic.
loves Diet Coke so much that she wrote this poem and made this video.
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. At restaurants, I choose to ask, do you serve Diet Coke? If the answer is no, I grab my hat and my coat. In my blood, it flows like a transfusion. I think about it all day like a bubbly illusion. I can't live without Diet Coke, it surely seems. If I deny myself that drink, I have really bad dreams.
How many things in life are really 0 calories? Not that many. Suddenly, Diet Coke is replacing the snack you think you shouldn't eat, the cigarettes you're trying to quit, the second coffee of the day you don't think that you should have, all because it's 0 calories. Not to mention, as far as features that make it easy to repeat, Diet Coke is tied to a physiological need, aka thirst. Cheaper than a cup of coffee, and even the can is the perfect vessel for maximum consumption. The world is already consuming about 1.9 billion servings of Coca-Cola each and every day. But apparently this is not enough. In 2012, Todd Putman, a former Coke executive turned whistleblower, stepped forward with disturbing information about Coke's aggressive sales goals.
A man who says he wants everyone to know about the way sugary sodas have been marketed in this country.
Goals of replacing not just their competitors, but all beverages in the American diet with Coke.
You market in a much more aggressive way. You think about tap water as a potential competitor. Tap water as a potential competitor.
Diet Coke is like water coming from my sink, only it's better, more delicious than that plain old common drink.
Coca-Cola averages $4 billion a year in advertising, with the singular goal of driving more ounces into more bodies more often. So on top of everything we just discussed about Diet Coke potentially being addictive, you also have a very rich, very smart company working its hardest to drive more ounces into your body, which frankly sounds like it should be illegal. And it all seems to start with their almost 100-year-old strategy of being everywhere all the time, or to quote an ex-CEO, by having Coca-Cola products always within an arm's reach of desire. Which brings us to our final component of habit formation, context. Context simply refers to everything in your environment minus yourself. In the case of Diet Coke consumption, it refers to the specific situations you might consume Diet Coke in. Situations like at lunch with your Uber Eats or ritual order, at the movies with popcorn, as an afternoon snack or coffee alternative, a late night study aid, during dollar drink days, or when you're just too lazy to pour a glass of water. Successful products implant themselves in the everyday situations and moments that make up our lives, and then they stay there thanks to our habits. Rewarding a behavior, repeating it in a stable context or situation that is unlikely to change, is the recipe for a very strong habit. Once a habit has been established, it's unlikely to change unless the situation/context itself changes. Which is why you may have noticed that you probably order the same drink, maybe Diet Coke, at restaurants for the last 15 years. Because what makes a habit truly a habit is the fact that it's an automatic, non-conscious reaction. AKA, we're not choosing at all. We are repeating the same behavior based on the cues in the environment and based on our previous actions. And this is how you spend 60 plus years of your life drinking 1, 2, 3, 4 more Diet Cokes every single day. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is by no means an exhaustive list of what makes Diet Coke addictive. Also, I'm using the term addictive, like, you know, garden variety addictive, not like clinically addictive. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Also, check out my guide. Link is in the description box, and thanks again for watching.